Soul cleanser. Soul cleansing isn't something most people talk about, but everyone knows what it feels like when they need one. It's that heaviness you can't explain, that psychic film that you can't name, that sense that something is sitting on your spirit, dulling your clarity, dimming your energy, weighing down your field. It's when you feel foggy in places that used to feel sharp, when your emotions feel sticky instead of fluid, when your intuition feels muted, like it's trying to speak through static. It's when you look at yourself and think, this isn't me. Something is stuck to me. And the truth is, sometimes your soul doesn't need soothing. It needs scrubbing. A deep, unapologetic, full system reset. A cleanse that cuts through the spiritual gunk, dissolves the buildup, and restores you back to your original clarity. Because life leaves residue. People leave residue. Experiences leave residue. And if you're sensitive, if you're intuitive, if you're spiritually open, you feel every bit of it. And eventually your soul says, enough. Strip it. Reset it. Start over. I'm Kathia. Welcome to Ascended Spirit Amplifiers. If you're ready to strip away the residue that isn't yours, clear the buildup that you've been carrying, and return to the clarity of who you actually are, settle in. Let's begin. Why I created this blend. I didn't create Soul Cleanser from theory. I created it from a moment of raw honesty. A moment where I realized I didn't feel like myself anymore. Not because something dramatic happened, not because I was overwhelmed, but because there was a buildup. A slow, quiet accumulation of energy that wasn't mine. Old conversations, old emotions, old timelines, old projections, old psychic dust that had settled into the corners of my field. And one day, I felt it. All of it. The heaviness, the fog, the static, that subtle ick that no amount of grounding or journaling or meditating could shake. And I knew I didn't need comfort. I needed a reset. Not a gentle cleanse, not a soft release. A deep spiritual detox. A blend strong enough to cut through the residue, dissolve the buildup, and give my soul a clean slate. Soul Cleanser was born from that moment. The moment I needed something powerful, honest, and effective. Something that didn't just clear energy, but restored me to myself. The Soul Cleanser blend ingredient lineage. Beeswax. Across cultures, beeswax has always been a purifier. In ancient Egypt, it was burned in temples to cleanse the air and carry prayers upward. In Mediterranean and Middle Eastern traditions, beeswax candles were used to clear stagnant energy and protect sacred spaces. Beeswax holds the memory of the hive, order, harmony, and natural intelligence. In this blend, it becomes the foundation that stabilizes the cleansing process, creating a warm, protective container for the soul to release what it no longer needs. Black obsidian. Used by Mesoamerican cultures for scrying, protection, and deep spiritual extraction, obsidian has always been the stone that reveals truth. It was believed to cut through illusion and pull out what was hidden beneath the surface. In this blend, obsidian acts as the extractor, reaching into the deeper layers of the soul and pulling out the psychic residue, emotional buildup, and energetic debris that accumulates over time. Pyrite. In ancient Greece and Rome, pyrite was associated with fire, vitality, and purification. Indigenous cultures used it as a protective mirror, reflecting harmful energy away from the spirit. Pyrite carries the spark of life, the inner fire that gets dimmed by heaviness. In Soul Cleanser, Pyrite burns off stagnant energy and reignites your vitality, restoring strength where the residue once sat. Clear quartz. Clear quartz has been used across nearly every culture, from indigenous North American tribes to ancient Chinese healers, as a stone of clarity, amplification, and spiritual alignment. It was believed to hold the memory of light. In this blend, clear quartz magnifies the intention of cleansing, sharpening intuition, and restoring the soul's natural brightness. Smoky quartz. Celtic and Scottish traditions use smoky quartz for grounding and protection, believing it could absorb negative energy and dissolve it into the earth. It was the stone of transmutation, turning heaviness into neutrality. In Soul Cleanser, smoky quartz ensures that what leaves you doesn't linger. It grounds the release and stabilizes the nervous system as the deeper layers clear. Sage leaf. Used across indigenous cultures for purification, clearing thought forms, and resetting the energetic field, sage has always been a cleanser of the unseen. It was used to remove spiritual debris and restore clarity of mind. In this blend, sage leaf clears the mental clutter, the fog, the static, the psychic noise, making space for clarity to return. Helichrysum. Known as immortelle, helichrysum has been used in Mediterranean and African traditions for healing emotional wounds and restoring the spirit after trauma. It was believed to mend what the soul had carried for too long. In Soul Cleanser, helichrysum repairs the emotional bruising left behind by old energies, helping the soul regain its elasticity and strength. Rose petals. Across cultures, from Persia to India to Europe, rose has symbolized purity, compassion, and the softening of the heart. It was used to soothe the spirit and bring emotional balance. In this blend, rose petals bring gentleness into the detox. They soften the edges of the cleansing process, ensuring the reset feels like returning to yourself, not stripping yourself down. Frankincense. Used in African, Middle Eastern, and ancient temple traditions, frankincense was burned to sanctify spaces, lift the spirit, and clear psychic fog. It was believed to reconnect the soul to its higher self. In Soul Cleanser, frankincense restores spiritual authority, the sense of, I am here, I am clear, I am me. Clary sage. In European folk traditions, clary sage was used to clear the mind, sharpen vision, and cut through confusion. It was known as the plant that brings clarity to the eyes and truth to the mind. In this blend, clary sage detoxifies the mental field, dissolving overthinking and restoring inner quiet. Grapefruit. In modern energetic practices, grapefruit is used to lift heaviness, brighten the aura, and refresh the emotional body. It carries a clean, sharp, uplifting frequency. In Soul Cleanser, grapefruit cuts through emotional residue and brings lightness back into your field. Lotus. Across ancient Asian spiritual traditions, lotus represents purity rising from the mud, untouched, unclouded, and whole. It was used in rituals to elevate consciousness and cleanse the energy body. In this blend, lotus lifts your spirit above the debris, reminding your soul of its original clarity. Why they work together. The architecture of a true reset. Every ingredient in Soul Cleanser carries its own lineage, its own purpose, its own intelligence. But it's the way they work together that creates a full system reset. Black obsidian pulls out what's been sitting on your spirit. Pyrite burns off the stagnant energy that clings to your field. Smoky quartz grounds the release so nothing lingers. Clear quartz amplifies the clarity returning to you. Sage leaf clears the thought forms. Helichrysum repairs the soul bruising revealed as the residue dissolves. Rose softens the process so the cleanse doesn't feel harsh. It feels honest. Frankincense lifts the spirit back into alignment. Clary sage cuts through the mental fog. Grapefruit brightens the emotional body. Lotus raises your consciousness above the debris. Each one handles a different layer: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and ancestral. On their own, they cleanse. Together, they reset. This blend doesn't just remove what's weighing you down, it restores what's underneath: your clarity, your lightness, your original frequency. That's why these ingredients belong together. That's why this blend works. And that's why the reset it creates is real. The power of making your own soul cleansing tool. Tools don't cleanse your soul, you do. But when you create a tool with intention, something powerful happens. Your energy, your clarity, and your alignment become amplified. Across cultures and lineages, people made their own cleansing tools, not because the object held the power, but because the act of creation activated something inside them. It signaled readiness. It signaled participation. It signaled truth. When you make your own soul cleanser melt, you're not just melting wax and adding ingredients. You're choosing to strip away what isn't you. You're choosing to reset your field. You're choosing to return to clarity. The creation process becomes the first cleanse. The tool becomes the amplifier. Because when you craft something with your own hands, when you choose the ingredients, set the intention, and build the container, you're not waiting for clarity to find you. You're creating the space for clarity to return. That's why these tools work. Not because they replace your power, but because they reflect it back to you, clean and undistorted. Soul Cleanser doesn't just clear your energy. It amplifies the parts of you that already knows how to release, reset, and return to yourself. When you make your own tools, you're not consuming healing. You're participating in it. You're choosing alignment. You're choosing clarity. You're choosing you. Soul Cleanser, the creation process. You will need the following to create your own Soul Cleanser wax melt: 12 ounces of beeswax pellets, 2 tablespoons of organic, unrefined virgin coconut oil, 70 drops of frankincense essential oil, 40 drops of clary sage essential oil, 70 drops of grapefruit essential oil, and 80 drops of lotus essential oil. 6 teaspoons each small pieces of black obsidian, pyrite, clear quartz, and smoky quartz, 12 to 15 sage leaves, 6 helichrysum flowers, and 6 teaspoons of rose petals. This recipe makes 6 large melts that can be cut into quarters for extended use. All tools and ingredients can be sourced from your preferred suppliers. The storage jars and cookie sheets can be found at the Dollar Tree. Step 1. Prepare your workspace, where reset begins. Set up your wax warmer or hot plate in a well-ventilated area. Lay out your pot, stirrer, thermometer, and molds. Gather your crystals and botanicals, and pre-measure your essential oils. You'll thank me later. Detox doesn't begin in the wax. It begins in your honesty. This melt is a reset, a clearing, a moment where you choose to strip away what's been sitting on your spirit. Step 2. Melt the beeswax, softening what was coated. Add 12 ounces of beeswax to your pot and melt it over a low to medium heat, around 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Beeswax melts slowly on purpose. It teaches you that even the most stubborn residue softens under steady warmth. Stir gently as it liquefies, letting the golden wax mirror the cleanse you're calling in. Keep the temperature steady, never above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Too much heat can burn the wax and dull the essential oils. Step 3. Add coconut oil. Ease in the release. Once the wax reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit, remove it from the heat and add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. This softens the final melt and improves scent diffusion. Energetically, it represents easing the release, the moment the buildup begins to let go. Step 4. Infuse the essential oils, the breath of the reset. Let the wax cool to 135 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature where essential oils stay potent and alive. Then add 70 drops of frankincense, 40 drops clary sage, 70 drops of grapefruit, and 80 drops of lotus essential oils. Stir slowly, letting the scent rise like a clean breath after being weighed down for too long. This is where the melt shifts from ingredients to purification. Step 5. Prepare the molds. Build the altar of cleansing. Before pouring, prepare each mold like a tiny altar of reset. Into each cavity, add 1 teaspoon of black obsidian to extract the psychic residue and pull out what's been sitting on your spirit. 1 teaspoon of pyrite to burn off stagnant energy and restore the inner fire that heaviness dimmed. 1 teaspoon of smoky quartz to ground the release and transmute what leaves you into neutrality. 1 teaspoon of clear quartz to amplify the cleansing intention and restore crystalline clarity. 1 teaspoon of rose petals to soften the process and bring compassion into the cleanse. 1 helichrysum flower to tend to the soul wounds revealed as the buildup clears. And 2 to 3 sage leaves to purify thought forms and sweep out lingering debris. These botanicals and stones don't just decorate. They anchor the melt in truth, cleansing, and clean restart. This is where the melt becomes a tool, not because of what it looks like, but because of what you're placing into it. Step 6. Pour the wax, the first layer of release. Pour a thin layer of wax into each mold. This helps the botanicals and crystals settle and prevents floating. Let it thicken slightly, not fully set, just enough to hold. The first layer is the moment the residue breaks. Quiet, precise, decisive. Step 7. Add the remaining wax. Let clarity take its shape. Once the first layer grips the ingredients, pour the remaining wax slowly over the top, like clarity filling the space where buildup once lived. Pour with intention, knowing this tool is being built to amplify your reset, not replace your power. This is where the melt becomes whole, where the ingredients become a vessel, and your intention becomes form. Step 8. Let them set. Trust the unrushed cleanse. Allow the melts to cool naturally for a minimum of 24 hours. No freezer, no fridge, no rushing. Reset lands in stillness, patience, and breath. Let the melts honor that. Once fully cooled, remove them from the molds and store them in an airtight container. They're ready for your next moment of choosing clarity, cleansing, and soul-level restart. The power of creating your own connection to self. Before we begin, I want to remind you of something essential, something that matters deeply when you're clearing your field and returning to yourself. Your connection to yourself is real. It exists. It has always existed, and it responds to you. You don't need someone else to cleanse your energy. You don't need someone else to tell you how to reset. You don't need someone else to guide you back into clarity. Your soul already knows how to release what isn't yours. Your body already knows how to let go of what it's been carrying. Your spirit already knows how to return to its natural brightness. This meditation isn't about me cleansing you. It's about you remembering your own power. The part of you that knows how to clear, how to reset, how to come back to yourself without force, without fear, without hesitation. Some people feel the release as warmth. Some feel it as a shift in their breath. Some feel a lightness in the chest. Some feel nothing at all. And that is self-cleansing. You are not here to perform healing. You are here to allow it, to let your system do what it already knows how to do. The meditation doesn't have to feel dramatic to be real. It doesn't have to feel intense to be powerful. It doesn't have to feel emotional to be effective. It only has to be yours. This is your reset, your clearing, your return to the clarity that has always lived underneath the residue. Settle in. Let your breath soften. And let your own power meet you here. Soul Cleanser Full Meditation. Take a moment to settle into your body. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath soften. Let yourself arrive. Not perfectly, not deeply, just honestly. You don't have to force anything here. You don't have to perform healing. You don't have to try to release. Your system already knows how to let go of what isn't you. Your soul already knows how to reset. Your body already knows how to clear residue it was never meant to carry. All you're doing right now is giving yourself permission to return to that knowing. Take a slow breath in and let it release gently. Again, in and out. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the support beneath you. Feel the way your breath moves without effort. Now bring your awareness to the places inside you that feel heavy, cloudy, or coated. You don't need to name them. You don't need to understand them. Just notice where your energy feels thick or dim or muted. These are the places where residue has settled. The old conversations, old emotions, old timelines, old projections, old psychic dust that has collected without your consent. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to push it out. You don't have to make anything happen. Just breathe. With every inhale, your system gathers clarity. With every exhale, your system releases what it no longer needs. Inhale, clarity. Exhale, residue. Inhale, truth. Exhale, buildup. Inhale, you. Exhale, not you. Let your breath do the work. Let your body lead. Let your soul remember its own brightness. Now imagine, not visually, but energetically, a gentle warmth beginning to rise inside you. Not a flame, not a light, just warmth. The kind that softens what's been stuck. The kind that loosens what's been clinging. The kind that melts what's been coating your spirit. This warmth moves at its own pace. It doesn't rush. It doesn't force. It doesn't demand. It simply softens. And as it softens, the residue begins to release. Quietly, naturally, without struggle. You may feel a shift in your breath. You may feel a lightness in your chest. You may feel nothing at all. Your system is doing exactly what it knows how to do. Resetting, clearing, returning to clarity. Let your breath deepen just a little. Not forced, just fuller. And now, gently bring your awareness back to yourself. Not the version of you covered in residue, the version of you underneath it. The clear one, the bright one, the grounded one, the one who has always been there, waiting for space to breathe again. Take one more slow inhale and a long, easy exhale. And when you're ready, come back to your breath. Come back to your body and come back to yourself. Notice what's settling in your body right now and how it feels within you. If it feels right, bring a hand to your heart. Not to add anything, not to fix anything, just to acknowledge the clarity returning to you and give gratitude. You are here. You are clear. You are you. Thanks for watching. If something in this video resonated with you, honoring that with a like helps this work find the people who are meant to see it. And I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. It's always beautiful to see how these messages land for different people. And by all means, share it with anyone you think might benefit. If you want to keep exploring with me, make sure you're subscribed. I share new videos every week, and each one builds on this journey in its own way. Please never forget, my intent is your ascent. See you next time.